Hello friends, usually it's like 2, maybe 3 months in between videos like this where I talk about releases that are upcoming, that have been announced, cover reveals. It's only been like 5 weeks since I did the last one because I guess this is just the time of year where everyone's announcing things. First half, we're gonna do authors that I've read from before and now their upcoming thing. And then second half, authors that I've never read from before. This might be my first experience with them. If we read the synopsis and decide together that we should read the book. First up, I talked about Imps last time, but it didn't have a cover. And then I got a cover. This is Gerardo Samano Cordova. Cannot wait for this book. I don't know if we actually had a full synopsis last time, so let's read it and remind ourselves. On a quiet morning, Francesca awakes to a rare good day. She skips work, admires the squabbling sparrows in her tiny terrace in Mexico City, and senses a joy so refreshing it feels dangerous. But when there's a knock on her door announcing an odd stranger at her apartment, Francesca, frightened and fascinating, acts on a whim, shattering her peaceful day and predictable life. She can only think of one person to help her with this unexpected, maybe hostile visitor, her estranged twin brother, Pablo. We have read that before. The reunion of them is a little bit crazy. That's the vibes. I like the cover. I also talked about Double Take by Tashi Bhuiyan. This has since gotten a cover. I like it. This is the one about estranged sisters that are thrown together after a birthday wish triggers a journey across the multiverse. That sounds right up my alley. Let's talk about a couple debuts. So there's a handful of authors that have come out with YA books and now they're doing adult. Rachel Griffin is the one I'm probably the most excited about. Then what is it called? The Nature Witches or whatever. I'm sure I'm putting a little picture. Is one that I loved and I have wanted her to write adult and now it's happening. The cover's cute. It's called When the Woods Called Us Home. Let's find out what it's about. In the rural town of Bone Creek, Emma Pierce has devoted her life to caring for the wind-battered trees of the rugged Washington coast, feeling more grounded 100 feet up than with both feet firmly planted on the ground. When she's climbing, Emma can convince herself that the curse claiming the Pierce women's lives is nothing more than hollow gossip. When she's climbing, the changes in her sister don't seem so alarming. But when her boyfriend, Ellie's brother, goes missing, Eli, not even the trees can calm the dread in Emma's gut. Both Eli and her sister fall under the town's suspicion, and Emma throws herself into a search for answers. Soon she discovers the town is holding on to secrets, and so too is her own family. Forced to confront what the people she loved most are capable of, Emma must uncover her forgotten memories from the night her mother died. A generations-old feud has been simmering beneath the surface of Bone Creek, and it's coming to a lethal boil in the very woods where Parker vanished. Okay. I'm going to read that. Lucy Keating, who I read Dreamology from, had to be like 10 years ago, is coming out with what seems like her adult debut, I think, unless she's published under other names. But this little announcement says it's called What If I Do? It's about a 30-something wedding planner. I love wedding books. On the night of her best friend's wedding is thrown back 10 years back in time to the summer he could have been hers. Oh, that her best friend? Oh God. This time, her lifelong nemesis is sexier than she remembers. Exploring themes of first love and second chances. Interesting. I'm intrigued. It sounds a little messy if I'm understanding the synopsis properly. It Takes a Village by Alyssa Cole. Cute cover. Ebony Goodman is stuck on the unemployment merry-go-round until she lands a job that's almost too good to be true. A position at Helping Hand Inc., a forward-thinking nonprofit organization with a helping hand at a second chance. She happily settles into her role as administrator for an experimental village of tiny homes, an initiative to combat homelessness. But the residents in the neighboring town are far from welcoming, and Ebony can't ignore the strange late-night occurrences. As protests escalate and unexplained incidents pile on, Ebony begins to learn the history of the land. Soon, cracks in Helping Hand Inc.'s philanthropic facade reveal ugly truths about the organization, and Ebony's dream job is indeed too good to be true. I really liked the last, is that a bug? Alyssa Cole I read. It is a bug. And I feel like this could be a good pick for the Literally Dead Book Club, maybe. So we should consider it. It comes out in February. Ooh, and it's 460 pages. So it's a longer horror book. We have a new book from Kate Ankrum. This is another YA book. This is an author that I loved years ago. I'm not currently picking up her stuff, but when she does an adult debut, I'll be reading. But I thought I'd let you know this is coming out in case this is an author who you enjoy. It's called Ellie. Ellie is the main character. And she's counting down the days until high school is over. She just has to make it 4 more months until she's in charge of her own life and away from her negligent guardian. One night at the gas station, Ellie encounters someone stealing food, someone who looks exactly like her, another Ellie. Even more strange is that in an instant, the creature changes again and takes on the appearance of a new person. That does sound fun. This one is short stories by Ai Jiang, who I quite liked a novella from. This is called Memories Are Only Valuable If They Can Be Lost. Good title. Let's see what the vibe is. A short fiction that explores both near future and far future societies, the fantastical and surreal, the horrific and psychological, found family, those we've lost, generational disparities, the value of language and identity and memories, and more. Perfect. I'll pick it up. Akwaeke Emezi has a new book coming out. The cover is fun. It's called Eclipse and the Wolf. In this blockbuster epic, pulsing with powerful magic and political tension, welcome to St. Paradise, where clans, elites trade in secrets, sex, and goods. A glittering world dripping with wealth and blood, old and new. Eclipse has not forgotten the blood. One of the few survivors of the Oranab clan massacre, she's been raised to be a bigger terror than the one she lived through, a weapon of destruction disguised as a beautiful princess. Yearning to escape, Eclipse sneaks out to a club on neutral territory. When she crosses paths with Wolf, heir to the Goldshot clan, ancient blood magic humming in their veins forms a bond that will transform the future of St. Paradise forever. That sounds fun. Of course, the most exciting one, Ears by Stephen Graham Jones. This got announced a couple weeks ago, and I didn't read the synopsis, so I could just read it with you. It's green and pinky purple, a favorite color combo of mine, and it looks like a rabbit, and it's by my favorite author. It's a novella, and I think it's going to be my favorite novella of the year. We should probably read this for the Literally Dead Book Club. I'll probably do a combo. I'll pick another novella, and we'll read 2 novellas in, March or April? Easter season. A new haunted house novella by the master of horror, yes he is, in which a mysterious girl in lavender footy pajamas will do anything to keep her house from being sold. Mr. Morning Gun, the hapless narrator of this first-person novella, is a disgraced history teacher who is now an unhoused person who's largely living within his electric car and empty houses he looks after for local real estate agencies in a specific... There's a word missing. He flushes the empty house's toilets to keep primarily the wax seals on the toilets fresh and the plumbing flowing. For this, he gets a bit of money under the table. One day at the Messner house, he gets caught by an aggressive realtor having a tryst. I'm going to cut out the second paragraph I just read because I feel like it gives away way too much for a 120-page novella, and I'm going to erase that from my brain, and we're going to find out together as we read this together what it's about. There's a man going around houses. There's a little girl trying to stop him. Yep. That's going to be a good time. Kazuo Ishiguro has a book coming out called Miss Lambert Steps Aboard Danger. London, 1938. After attending a music hall matinee, Richard Hadley has an unexpected encounter with the mysterious Miss Lambert. Over a shared love of singing, a strange connection is forged. But when he follows her to a secretive conference at Marlborough House, Miss Lambert warns him that she's on the brink of an important breakthrough and that he, understanding nothing, must not get in her way. As an old friend, a Tory ex-minister, and an assortment of strangers on a train cross his path, it could be that Richard finds himself at the heart of something momentous, if only he can piece together what is going on. Interesting. Is this a big book? I can't tell how, ambitious this sounds. 240 pages. That seems reasonable. I like that. I'll pick it up. Okay, a romance by Chloe Leese called Love Interest. Most of these are 2027 releases. Helen Holloway loves books, but she's read enough to realize that she's the side character in her own life. Oh no. The supportive best friend, the fun aunt. I don't say aunt. Aunt. The reliable librarian with the perfect recommendations. Only when she escapes into her beloved stories does Helen get to be the bold, feisty heroine. Then she meets Sam Cartwright. Oh, I thought she was going to go inside the book. From the arrogant thriller writer's first infuriating email, Sam demonstrates he has no problem making demands of her library, yet no interest in supporting it. As their bickering emails escalate, that sounds fun, Helen breaks character and pledges Sam's support to the library fundraiser. When Sam finds out, he demands repayment. He'll support the fundraiser if Helen helps him work through his writer's block and plot his next bestseller. And then they're going to fall in love. Cute. I'll probably read it. We have another Luke Dumas coming out. The cover seems fun. This is called We Don't Call Them Cages. Something is wrong at the world-famous Zoo USA. Okay. Animals keep escaping. Others are found dead in their enclosures. It's a public relations nightmare for Ashley, the communications executive responsible for convincing the public that nothing is amiss. Worse, she suspects the incidents are not accidental and fears someone on the inside is responsible. Ooh. Bright-eyed young conservationist, hi, Megan is thrilled to be in town for North America's largest conference for zoo professionals. The conference has been eye-opening, but at least she has Zoo Day to look forward to, a full day to explore Zoo USA with her sister Sierra, if only she can convince Sierra that zoos aren't exploitative animal prisons. Brandon is counting down the days too, twisted by hate and hellbent on revenge. The disgruntled zookeeper and his co-workers are planning something big to get back at the institution that has wronged them. Much like the animals he cares for, Brandon has grown tired of his cage. And when Zoo Day comes, everyone best run. Yeah. Okay. Brute by Eric LaRocca. The Shining meets The Truman Show, filtered through a tech lens. It's a splatterpunk novel following a queer wedding planner whose past comes back to haunt him when he's forced to arrange his first gay marriage. Ephraim is a wedding planner unlike any other. It's not just the all black outfits or the strange wide-brimmed hats he loved wearing. In the privacy of his cottage, Ephraim dreams of planning a different kind of event, an execution. What? When Nicholas and Sebastian decide to hire Ephraim for their special day, it becomes harder for Ephraim to leave his at-home thoughts where they belong. With a mysterious man hovering around town seemingly everywhere Ephraim goes, everything threatens to come apart at the seams. Okay. Tasha Suri has something coming out called The Lady of Thorns. When Rohis is convicted of the murder of a prince, she's given the choice of execution or entry into the cursed city of Moonscarrow. If she can find the heart of the Lady of Thorns within the city and pierce it through, she will earn her freedom. Oh my god, so it's like a little contest. But Moonscarrow is not as she imagined it. It is excruciatingly beautiful, haunted by pale wraiths, and filled with dark memories of the Lady of Thorns' untold past. As Rohis, I'm not pronouncing that right, grows closer to finding the heart, she begins to question everything she believed about the sorceress and must make her final choice: kill the sorceress and save the kingdom, or set her free and watch it burn. It's a gothic romantasy. Your Best Chance of Survival by Mike Bakoven. I read a book by this author, and this one says, welcome to the end of the world, premium membership required. The climate has collapsed, there's water riots in the streets, and humanity's future looks bleak, but that doesn't mean the ultra-wealthy can't still live in luxury. Welcome to Guadium, a luxury bunker featuring fine dining, the latest in technology, and enough workers to make sure the end of the world is hardly a speed bump on your road to total self-actualization. All you need to do to enter is be ungodly rich and connected, sign the absolutely binding contract, and then you're locked away from the world with hundreds of your closest friends. Of course, being an underground innovator is not without its challenges. You must solve your own problems, which may include but are not limited to insurrection, assault, cannibalism, murder for sport, drugs, public executions, unwilling dismemberments, panicking staff, and human madness beyond all reason. But don't let that concern you. You're better than everyone else. Leave the world behind and head underground to Guadium. You'll never want to leave. Not that you have a choice. Fun. Pin Feathers by Christina Henry. There seems to be two different covers for this. I think this one is the typical one, but there's like an extra little one that I far prefer. Let me know what you think. Nora is a stay-at-home mother tired but coping while caring for her happy, healthy baby Olivia. Then one morning, something that looks like a feather starts growing out of Olivia's arm, or at least that's what Nora's mother, Juliana, that's not that name, Guilia thinks. Nora thinks her mother has probably spent too much time watching conspiracy videos on YouTube. Nora's husband thinks Olivia needs tests, specialist hospitals, but Nora senses that whatever is happening to her daughter needs to be concealed. And a mother's intuition is never wrong. Soon, sinister people begin asking questions about Olivia, and Nora starts to wonder if there's really something wrong with her baby. But she's determined to discover the truth about her daughter, no matter the cost. I don't know if that sounds interesting to me, actually. Elodie and the Dark Lord. That sounds fun, by Ashley Poston. 38-year-old Elodie is content in her quiet life as her village's librarian. Perhaps not happy, but she's come to terms with that. After all, a scholar of magic with no magical talent of her own is quite useless in the kingdom of Abria. By contrast, her younger brother is a rare talent in magic on the verge of a breakthrough. But he disappears and she has to rescue him. Who's she gonna work with to do that? Because there's a man on the cover. The headmaster. They come up with a glamour for Elodie, but she accidentally undoes a curse on the conservatory's least favorite professor, a centuries-old Dark Lord. Now defanged and demagicked, cursed forever as a cat. What's happening? The Dark Lord is surprisingly charming and disarmingly handsome when he's not a cat, and seemingly her best ally. So that's not the headmaster, that's the Dark Lord. Right, got it. Elodie knows it would be dangerous to give him her heart, especially when rumor is he used to eat them. Wanda M. Morris has a mystery thriller coming out. It's called This Never Happens Here. Tom and Olivia settle in for a cozy evening at home in a sort of suburb where nothing ever happens. The next morning, the young couple is found dead. What seems like a run-of-the-mill gas leak accident raises grave concern when police discover the couple's 6-year-old daughter is missing. Oh no. We have detectives. They're investigating. They have no clear suspects, but there was a suspicious black woman parked on the street the day before. As similar cases begin to crop up, parents dead, children missing, and pressure from the community mounts, the case takes a disturbing turn the detectives never saw coming, and they realize they're up against a frighteningly powerful adversary. Maybe it's someone saving these children and from terrible parents. Is that what's happening? T. Kingfisher, of course, has like a bajillion books coming out. A Devil of a Crime. This is a murder mystery about a retired devil and retired angel who must team up to catch a killer stalking their small town before all hell breaks loose. That sounds fun. Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richard. I read a book by that author earlier this year and I liked it. And this one, let's find out what it's about. Lucy reads about to fake it. As a sex columnist, her views on relationships aren't exactly optimistic. Instead, she encourages readers to embrace their sexuality, that you don't need a partner to be happy. But when her team claims that all their readers are in relationships and that it might be time for something or someone new, she's got to act fast. Enter Marshall Oakley. Is this fake dating? Marshall is the new senior news writer. Oh gosh, it's going to be co-workers. Do I like that? We'll find out. At Lucy's company, but he's just confessed to needing a girlfriend for his ex's wedding. Faking a relationship is perfect. Marshall can finally prove he's moved on, and Lucy can write about finding the one, only to break up and prove to readers and her bosses that relationships don't solve anything. But obviously she's gonna be wrong and she's gonna fall in love. Cute. Emily Austin, a recently announced book called Garbage Girl, about a 28-year-old grocery store custodian and her search for the best friend who ghosted her a decade before and may now be missing. That's not coming till 2028? Oh my gosh. Okay. And then Ling Ling Huang. I feel like there was a Ling Ling Huang announced already, but maybe this is the same one. No, this got announced in June. It's called Second Nature. Following a young boy raised in an isolated matriarchal society by his many mothers and in devotion to a female god, until a mysterious rite fractures his understanding of faith, power, and belonging, revealing a darker truth beneath the world he has always known. That sounds fun. Spring 2027. I think that's all of the ones by authors I've read from before, and now let's run through ones that I have no reason to have on my TBR except the covers, mostly the covers. Look at this one. High Blood. Oh my God. I love it. Claudia Amador. Julieta was born with fangs, a beautiful little monster in a family that knew exactly what to do with monsters. Her grandmother, Julia, has built an empire out of the Sanguina factory, the High Blood Club, the old carnival families, the politicians, the servants, the bodies that can be drained and paid and forgotten. In Barranquilla, the Venturosos do not hide what they are. They dress in lace, teach it to dance, put it on a float, and call it tradition. Now Julieta is meant to be queen of the carnival. She must smile, dance, read the bando, marry the man chosen for her, and step into the future her grandmother has prepared since the day she was born. But as carnival approaches, the family begins to turn on itself. Bodies appear where they shouldn't, old rituals start to fail, and the women around Julieta grow hungry in ways even blood cannot satisfy. Afro-Caribbean spiritual traditions, a landscape of blood, spectacle, and ritual, where women inherit hunger like a family heirloom, and survival depends on who's willing to devour whom first. That sounds fun and you know it. Milk Givers, I don't think I talked about last time, but like this cover is incredible and I love it. A neurodivergent woman working at a cereal bar discovers that sipping her customers' leftover cereal milk allows her to enter alternate worlds. Did I read that to you before? Because I feel like I've read it and it still sounds good. Around the World in 80 Dates. This cover is cute. It's by Jasmine Burke. Amori expected to wake up with a hangover, not viral sensation status. But in the space of a single drunk post, her innermost thoughts on dating become the business of 2.3 million viewers. Now the barista's safe, ordinary life has blown up into something entirely out of her control, until her video catches the attention of the magazine that inspired her to pursue journaling. So she's gonna make a brand new dating column called Around the World in 80 Dates. She's on a 6-month journey of adventures that are gonna help her find the one. But she's never casually dated before. This sounds so fun. And she has a new travel partner who's like a dating guru. So obviously she's gonna fall in love with that one instead of all the guys she's gonna go on a date with. Another romance, Happily Ever After Life. That title just sounded like something that I would like. Emma R. Albin is the author. A struggling writer falls for the hot ghost mom she meets. Franny's awful boss, celebrated literary novelist Henry L. Olsen, just told her that her latest manuscript is a dud again. Frustrated and lonely, Franny stomps around the 9th floor of the famously haunted Dakota building. She's gonna awaken a ghost. They're gonna fall in love. How cute. Call Me Traitor by Everina Maxwell, a thrilling and romantic fantasy adventure. N is a weapon. Battle spells are carved into her skin. She's trained to work through pain and she's magically compelled with loyalty. Tamal is a disaster. N isn't fooled by the soldier's silver tongue and good looks. Tamal is flighty, cowardly, and the worst soldier N has ever met. But she's also brilliant at magic and kinder than N has any right to expect. They're in the Empire. There was the exiled people. The future of the Empire is unexpectedly in the hands of N and Tamal. At least the perfect soldier would never betray her orders, no matter how much she starts to question her command. Would she? It's a sapphic adventure. How fun. Hush Little Hauntings. I like this cover by Marie Croak. It says it's a hauntingly original gothic horror about a mysterious midwife tasked with delivering hauntings who must uncover the truth behind her newest patient's uncanny birth before it tears her world apart. That sounds scary. A Deadly Blooming. Love this cover. Daphne Fama. Lured into a terrifying inheritance competition. You got me in the first line. When returning home for her mother's funeral, a young woman must reckon with her mother's secrets in a town's past of deadly sacrifice. There's townspeople, there's trials, spirits, in a search for the truth of Talalora, her mother, and a curse that binds them all together. What's been buried must bloom. Yes, please. The Alchemist of Bohemia by Gabriella Buba. This is a shadowy gothic tale of magic, mystery, and madness. A brilliant scientist travels to the remote castle of her ailing aunt, which legend has it guards a portal to hell. Atmospheric, dark academia, fantasy, with a heavy helping of romance. Inspired by Czech folklore. I think I'll read that. This cover about Mother of Night. It's juicy. This is by James Bennett. It's a medieval horror novel. After being stranded in the remote Alps of Europe, a shipwrecked crew of knights are stalked by both human and monstrous threats in this medieval horror that's perfect for fans of the terror and Between Two Fires. There are strange things in the mountains, my lord, things older and darker than our Christian God, and hungrier. I'm scared. Milk Bread Teeth by Amy Twigg. Lena's body is no longer her own. It's occupied by a growing appetite, a hunger that demands to be fed. From inside her luxury apartment, Lena tries to appease it by gorging herself day and night, whole loaves of bread, protein shakes, tins of cat food if all else fails. Then Joan, an actress on the cusp of stardom, moves into the apartment above. Lena is quick to make friends. She soon finds herself in Joan's orbit, enjoying the trappings of wealth and privilege, the kind she's always pined for. But when the hunger is demanding more and more, Lena's carefully constructed image of herself starts to unravel, and as her appetite veers into the inedible, she must fight to remember who she is. It sounds like Night Bitch meets like The Substance or something. The Flesh I Want by Todd S. Jordan is a captivating and terrifying literary body horror set on the south coast of England about desire, the male gaze, and the gory lengths we will go to satisfy our hunger. 1984, we're following a 16-year-old boy. He discovers a secret. There's a woman hiding at the bottom of a well. She's beautiful. She's soaked in blood. She says she's killed a man Tim must only feed her, clothe her, and keep her safe. Infatuated, Tim steals gifts for her while his older brother takes the blame, straining relationships with the only family he has left. Over time, her requests escalate, from wine to live animals, which alter her appearance in horrifying ways. When she eats a chicken, feathers sprout from her neck. When she eats a centipede, her spine splits. She grows more legs. Tim realizes that with the right diet, he could sculpt her to the image of his wildest fantasies. That's crazy. Licensed to Thrill by Debbie Rigaud. Looks fun. I want an adventure romance. That's what I dream of. The bodyguard meets Romancing the Stone. An R&B singer is recruited to lure a foreign warlord out of hiding after the CIA discovers he's her #1 fan. I'm going to read that. Cold Empty Rooms by Andy Marino. Deep in the woods on the side of the mountain, there sits an old sprawling manor. Only those who truly need it will find it. That's intriguing right there. Within the shifting walls of this ancient house, something darkly miraculous is unfolding. Wounds have been suffered in this place. Wounds that are, wounds that will be. Silent Shadows, a paranormal rom-com. I'll be honest, when I added this, I thought it said Casey West. And I was like, Casey West is doing an adult paranormal romance? Thank you so much to whomever made that happen. But no, it's Katie West, who I do not know. But let's give it a shot anyway. Daisy Bennett, desperate for something new, when her sex and culture podcast is starting to lose steam, the last thing she expects is to spend the summer crammed into an RV with a crew of paranormal investigators chasing Bigfoot across the Southwest. It's supposed to be an entertaining comeback story. Miles Adler has spent his life searching for answers most people laugh at. As the leader of a small field research team dedicated to unexplained phenomena, he's used to the skeptics. He's not used to Daisy, the sharp-witted podcaster with a talent for getting under his skin and making him question whether some mysteries are worth solving. What's worse, she actually listens to him. Yeah, cute. We've got Hive Mind by Allison Gunn. Between this, Honey, and Meat Bees, like, this is a thing. This is a moment. Infamous Hollywood manager Jacob is on trial for what's been dubbed the crime of the century. The victim in question, B. Torrance, his client turned wife, and a horror artist whose controversial art and escapades were live streamed to keep viewers, known as her Hive, entertained. 1 week prior to his arrest, Jacob and B disappeared deep into the Appalachian Mountains. B was found brutally murdered in an abandoned cabin. The evidence undeniably points to Jacob as the culprit, yet he claims to have no memory of killing her or their ill-fated trip. We're questioning Jacob's sanity. This is a roller coaster ride with non-stop twists and turns. It extinguishes the bright lights of Hollywood to expose untold horrors and reckoning that awaits in the wilds of Appalachia. I'll read that. Too Cold for Comfort. Looks Cute by Nisha J. Tooley. The Arctic heats up when a photographer who rarely holds anything back is forced to share a private wing with a grumpy lodge owner who holds everything in. Cute. Enemies to Lawyers by Letizia Larini. In this courtroom romance, an ambitious young attorney must team up with her workplace rival to take on her ex-boyfriend in a high-stakes class action lawsuit. Fun. The Final Death of Namju Han by Elaine Yu Cho says it's a standalone contemporary fantasy set in a Korean bathhouse afterlife, following a resident who won't let anything, even her own death, stop her from trying to escape. She's died over 100 times, and she's not going to slow down now. Enlisting the help of other Sonomu residents who have shadowed pasts of their own, and the circle's enigmatic new Grim Reaper, Namju soon discovers that the key to getting out may require far more than evading deadly traps, solving elaborate puzzles, and slaying mythological beasts. Inspired by the video game Hades, with elements of Spirited Away and Dante's Inferno, The Final Death of Namju Han will transport readers to hell and back as Namju tries to outplay death itself. That sounds like it's for me. I'm going to mention The Most Dangerous Games because Mr. Beast is apparently coming out with a book, collaborating with James Patterson, which just seems ridiculous. If you wanted to know this was a thing, it's a thing. And lastly, this isn't technically an author that I've read from before, but I'm currently reading a book from E.L. Chen. And this was just announced. One of Us is Already Dead. So I would like to know what it's about. 25 years after the making of a notorious found footage horror movie, the estranged cast returns to the site of the filming, including the former final girl whose dreams are still haunted by that night. 25 years ago, 4 college kids snuck into an abandoned house to film a found footage horror movie. Only 3 returned. Now they're coming back together. Sounds similar to the one that I'm currently reading. And like, we need just like good solid slashers that feel like slasher movies. And that's what E.L. Chen seems to be delivering for us. I do think that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and reading through these synopses together to figure out what we want to read. If there's anything you think I missed that has been announced lately, check the playlist because there might be some things in recent videos that I've talked about. Let me know anything you want to let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!